The Dodge, the story about escaping the drama. I'm 31 and my wife 29 asked me for a separation and said it was her not happy with her. Just found out she has been cheating. Help. So long story short, my wife asked me to move out because she wasn't happy. We have been married for 3 years and together for 5. We have a daughter who is 4 and she has a son from before we were married who is 10. I asked if it was someone else. She assured me it wasn't. I asked if she wanted to be single. She assured me that was not the case. I asked if she wanted a divorce and she said she wanted to go to counseling, and no, she didn't. After being suspicious of the number of texts and calls she has been receiving lately, I pulled phone records and noticed some excessive activity with a number. Her ex-son's father. She said that I invaded her privacy and that she was getting her online so she didn't have to walk on eggshells about how she was talking to. So, she left her old iPhone home and it didn't add up to me. So, I pulled the history from the phone and saw some news that she had at least kissed another guy, someone different than her ex, and that she was sending him dirty explicit texts on what she would do, etc. Also, she has been talking to at least 2 other guys and not sure if those are just talking to or what. We are going to counseling and our next appointment is on Thursday. I plan on bringing it up there as opposed to before where things could get out of hand. I don't know what to do. Should I be planning on a divorce at this point? Yes, I have called and spoken to a counselor over the phone and was advised if possible, try and hold off on bringing it up until our session, which may be our last, on Thursday. I have also received some law advice pertaining to me moving out and the ramifications that will have on custody. No ramifications for me moving out or for her infidelity when it comes to custody is what I was told. When there is a separation, there is always someone that moves out. Abandonment doesn't come into play unless someone just up and leaves for good. I can't afford the rent here by myself if that goes that way is the main reason. I didn't press that. It's a lot right now. I'm not sure if D is the answer. I guess the confrontation on Thursday will be the deciding factor there. Before I learned of this stuff today, we were going to try and work things out, but I don't know if that is a possibility now. I am meeting with a lawyer tomorrow to discuss what the best route is for me. We do rent, so moving out is not as big of an issue in that matter as it would be if we owned. My driving goal has been to be in my daughter's life every day of her life. I am starting to think that may not be an option if this is the path things are going to go. Maybe I didn't say or make it clear. I am still in and have been in the house. I am supposed to move into apartment a week from Saturday. I am meeting with a lawyer tomorrow afternoon to talk about what the best approach is. One of the reasons I am choosing to wait until Thursday, as hard as this is shaping up to be, is because I don't want her to back out of therapy. I want some closure there if that is what bringing this up causes. Comment: divorce lawyers know how to divorce, not reconcile. Many marriage counselors will advise you to forgive and make nice even while the affair is going full-fledged, just to wait it out and nice her out of it. I hope yours is not like that. I am not a counselor, but I have been around long enough and seen enough to know this: your wife is damaged goods. And I don't mean because she had a kid at 19 and got divorced. I mean because there is something broken inside of her that you will be spending years and years trying to fix, and it may never get fixed. I mean because she is one of those people who need constant opposite gender attention. You just never noticed it or worried about it until she told you she wanted to separate. Trust me, you know of 3 other men she is sleeping with now. Yes, she's likely having sleeping with them. She is not going to limit it to phone contact if they are within driving range, and they definitely aren't going to limit it to just talk. She is an adult and so are they, and adults meet up to sleep together if they can. It is likely that your wife has been cheating on you for most of your relationship. OP responds: I met with a lawyer today to find out what I need to do if that is the path this takes. I am going to confront her on Thursday at the counselor visit. Last night and this morning have been the hardest thing I have had to deal with in this relationship, if not my adult life. Not confronting her or talking about it is almost impossible right now, but I somehow got through last night and today. I do plan to say almost exactly what was suggested. I will consider working on the marriage, but only if she comes clean with the truth now, ceases all contact with the other men now, and allows you to verify. Otherwise, I have too much pride and self-respect to stay in a marriage where your wife is choosing another man over you. Let her know you will consider going on with her, but you are willing and able to go on without her if that is her choice. I can no longer be a doormat or a convenient spouse. I will also pose the question if she ever loved me. What set this in motion? I feel like I need answers to these. I don't see her wanting to work, but I can at least say that I gave it one more shot. On top of all of this, tomorrow is our anniversary. Do I do anything? Do I even acknowledge it? I'm up in the air. I was planning on getting a card based on her reaction to me saying happy anniversary, and she said thanks. A happy anniversary was on a call to tell her my parents' dog had been put down. I did meet with a different lawyer today that specializes in men concerning paternity. Much better advice and plan of action. I also contacted the counselor to let him know what was going to go down tomorrow, and he agreed that these questions needed to be answered and was on board. She continues to say I made things worse for pulling the phone records, yet she has no idea that I know everything, along with straight up denial to being in the wrong at all. Big shocker coming to her tomorrow. At the advice of the lawyer, in case we may need to use the actual text, they advised me not to bring hard copies of anything, but merely quote something so she knows I know. Personally, I feel stronger than I have felt for 5 years. I lost myself somewhere along the way trying to make this work on her terms. Those days are over. Would it be rash to file for D if things go how I think they will? I foresee her trying to flip it on me and say that I further invaded her privacy, etc., playing the victim. If I say either we move on together or we move on separately, that is your choice. And the answer I get is separately. Is it worth not being the one to start the fire? The most FD up part of the counseling scenario is that counseling was her idea. I agree 100% that if she isn't free of the other guys, there is no point in going to counseling. I intend to lay that out there too. She forgot to factor in that I am smarter than her. I have been suspicious since she asked for the separation, and I saw some signs of the beginnings of this before as well. In order to maintain status quo and be in my daughter's life 100% of the time, I shrugged it off before. Now is well past that. I am ready to lose it or let her earn my trust back slowly. To me, there is no other option. The thing that I am up in the air about is this fixable? Is it worth continuing to just be separated if she isn't willing to begin the process towards us? Should I just file for D and move forward? I was planning on lighting the forest on fire after I confront her. I have his wife's phone number. I found one of the other guy's wives on Facebook. The guy she kissed is single, and the other guy is married also, but I don't know his last name or anything other than his phone number. As I type that, I just get more pissed. 4 damn guys, what the hell? How could I forgive that? I do love her, but I don't know if I can get past the trust issue. I will have probably forever now with her. I don't want to do it yet, but then again I don't want to be behind the wrong end either. I do love her, but if she's unwilling to change, am I to just move out and be separated? Should I stay here? My one fear is that if I say I'm staying, she takes my daughter and leaves. I don't want to displace my daughter in any of her routines. Also, my stepson is involved here too, so that would be 2 children put through that. Prior to me finding this all out, I had planned on getting an apartment down the street to give her space for her, which is a crock of crap. So obviously things have changed. In reading the texts, I read that she is going to try and rendezvous with the ex on the day I move out. I plan on blowing that up by calling his wife after the session tomorrow. I may call her before session. She is coming straight from work, so one care is not in the question, and knowing her right now, she's still playing the mad at me for pulling the initial phone records and wouldn't want to ride together. Also, the kids will be at her parents' while this is happening and we will have to pick them up. So, she admitted everything and then said, and I'm done. I said, so you want a divorce? And she said yes. I pretty much ripped her a new one and told her going forward in life, just be truthful, don't lie to people, don't hide things from people. After that I got some answers to my questions for closure. She loved me at one time, but she has never loved me like I would want to be loved. She's still in love with my stepson's father and always has been. When asked why you married me then, she replied, I settled to try and do it right this time for my daughter's sake. She said that originally she thought that MC would help, but 3 weeks ago she realized she was done. This is about the time when I started to get my legs back under me and get a backbone. We discussed child support, custody and visitation, and our debt. We have no savings, no house, and just possessions. I am thinking that mediation might be the route to go instead of shelling out thousands for a lawyer. Anyone have any insight on the mediation versus lawyer? I am sad and happy to say that this is over. I can begin to start my life fresh and get happy again. I didn't expose before and after 2 minutes and she said she wanted a divorce. Right now, she's amicable about custody, child support, splitting debt, etc. Lawyers are expensive. If we can do this in mediation, it will save thousands of dollars. I have still contemplated calling the wife tomorrow. The other numbers didn't work out on online phone book to get names. I'm still up in the air if exposing them to their spouses will hurt us working these issues out without having to get lawyers involved. If I'm way off, let me know. I don't think I could ever trust her again. I think this is a pattern behavior that even if she could get past now will happen again. She admitted to contacting a lawyer today for a consultation. She makes decent money and her father is loaded and will help her out. He may not agree with her actions, but he will support his daughter. So, the finances are there for her if really needed. She has reiterated that she will move out if I don't and take the kids with her to her parents. I cannot afford the rent here and bills on my own. I have separated finances. Did that a few weeks ago. After her non-reaction to the confrontation and her response of I'm done with the marriage for good, and not worth this is worth fighting for. She showed no remorse for doing this stuff either. Completely cold and complacent about the whole thing. Like she knew I knew but let me suffer anyway. I am going to do the 180. She was not married to the ex. They were engaged. She broke it off because he cheated on her. She is in a fog. I called her out on this by name as well in the MC session. There are a few issues with me staying here. One being her son, my soon-to-be ex-stepson, is 10. She would displace him at the very least and bring him to her parents' house. When we first moved to Texas, we stayed with them for 6 months so it wouldn't be too unfamiliar to the kids there. Also, there is nothing that would stop her from taking both of them there. As far as the kids are concerned, I want to cause as few ripples as I can in their lives. The divorce alone is going to be enough for them. I don't want them to see the cops called or have to sleep at her parents'. Maybe that's being too nice to her, but the kids have always come first for me. Began 180. Went and picked kids up from daycare that she works at. Didn't say a word to her. Just smiled, got the kids and left. So, I just go off the phone with her father. I decided against the XOMW because of the ramifications it could set into motion with regard to me seeing my daughter whenever I wanted. Her father said he was probably going to give the XOM a call and tell him to deal with his marriage and don't try to break up another one. He was shocked to hear that she planned on seeing him when he was coming to support his son. So shocked that he asked me to read him the text. I do feel better that I did out her to someone that could wake her from her fog. At the end of the day, I do still love her, whether that's because she's the mother of my daughter or what, and I was willing to try and forgive and move forward for the sake of the family. If this came up later and I was ready to head down that road, I am not ruling it out. I am also ready to say goodbye and move forward individually, and as of now that's the path we are on now. I asked her timeline for this process and she said she hadn't thought about it, which further shows me she is looking at the next 10 minutes rather than the next 10 years. Again, I would like to thank everyone who has given feedback and advice. I honestly don't know if I would be in the same place mentally today if I didn't get on this board and rely on my offline friends and family as well. So, what I am talking about is this. Yes, I will get standard visitation. But on days when are not my days and STBXW is working later, I would like the opportunity to pick her up and spend a few hours with her. As of now, this was okay. That is something she does not have to do. Seeing my daughter for 2 to 6 hours more per week would be really nice. My comment: OP finally did the right thing. It took some time, but it's great seeing him do better. Story 2. The Dreams and Nightmares. 7 years ago, when I first met my husband, I cheated on him. We had just started dating and he asked me to go out with a friend of his that was in town. We ended up getting really drunk and sleeping together. I made a horrible mistake and we both agreed to never talk about it or mention it again. My husband and I just got married a few months ago and we were really happy together, and his friend decided to tell him the truth about that night. My husband is devastated and wants to dissolve our marriage. He hates me now and says he will never trust me again. I'm not a bad person, I swear. I've been a good wife and a good girlfriend. I would have to say I have put up with more than any one person would from a man, and he knows that. But I think this may be a breaking point for him. I have already cried, said how sorry I was, and he knows how much I love him. I'm lost, I don't know what to do. We had only been dating a few months. His friend had been in town for a while, and he was bored. My husband and I were living in different states at the time. It was about 6 months later that we decided I would move to his state and we would live together. Comments: sorry, but I can't get worked up on this one. They had been dating for only a few months and were long distance at that. Unless there was explicit exclusivity agreed upon here, Opus was there. Then her husband should have more issue with his friend than with her. If this happened before exclusivity, then her bonding life before then isn't his business. Comments like marriage built on a lie and loved you under false pretenses are off base unless they were an exclusive couple when this happened. However, Opus has to address her husband's feelings, whether justified or not, as he has a right to feel anyway he wants. Do not trivialize the impact this has on him just because for you it was a drunken mistake 6 years ago while dating. Your comment about what he has put you through seems dismissive and defensive. Not the time to express that to him, but whatever. He is hurt and feels betrayed even if it happened before you took wedding vows with him. So how do you fix this? It will take more than a one-time apology. I suggest marriage counseling. I'm puzzled though as to why this so-called friend decided now to tell him. Have you been in contact with this friend over the years? OP responds: I am being defensive. I will admit that. Trust me, I'm so sorry for what happened. I have no idea why he decided to tell him. He is engaged now and we all hung out occasionally, but not very often. I guess he was drunk and decided he felt guilty. I have suggested marriage counseling. We went before we got married and he will never go back. He hated it. I am truly sorry for what I did. There is no excuse. I made a horrible mistake and I just wanted to pretend that it never happened. And honestly, that's what I had done. I lied about it for so long I think I actually believed my lie. I don't think we really had an agreement on anything. We were just dating and living in separate states. I'm not sure what we were at the time. However, I did lie, and yes, I am addressing his feelings, but I do love him at the time when this happened. I can't say whether I did or not. I liked him a lot though. I just don't know if at the time I loved him. Again, we had only been dating for a few months. Actually, I think I was still seeing other people at the time, and yes, he knew about that. He's speaking to me. We are still living in the same house. He said he loves me. He is just really hurt and does not know what to do. I lied for 6 years about it. I did lies and I know how bad that is, but that's all I have ever lied to him about. But whatever, this wasn't his best friend or anything. He was more of an acquaintance at the time. I believe he is more hurt about the lie than anything. I wish I knew more. He is not really talking to me about it. He has acted distant and seems angry, but he still says I love you and have a good day in the morning. I'm not sure what he is thinking right now. Neither one of us is the best at communicating, and so far, it does not seem that he wants to talk. It was a bold-faced lie. I did lie when he asked, Over the past few years it became a joke. He would always joke that I slept with his friend, and I would say no, that's not true. I lied. I kept lying too. Did I feel guilt? Yes, every time he joked about it I did, but I knew he would flip out. He ignored me this morning, never said a word to me. In the last email he sent me said he regretted marrying me. I did, however, talk to his sister and told her what happened. She thinks this is ridiculous and he is behaving like a child. She said he has many skeletons in his closet and not to worry, those may come out also. So, I have no idea. At this point I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I don't think his sister is trying to stir the pot. I think she is just saying they look, everyone has skeleton, and we all lie to protect others, and he should see that. I don't have anything else to lay out there, that's it. And trust me, even if he had a skeleton, he would not throw it out there. It's easier to play the victim than to be the bad guy, and right now I am the bad guy and the most hated person. I know I hurt him by lying, I accept that, and I have done everything to try and tell him I'm sorry. He does not seem to care. I just want to fix this and make him feel better and not so hurt. I really never wanted to hurt him, ever. I have been cheated on before, several times, by different boyfriends. Some I broke up with and a few I forgave. Yes, it was difficult at the time, but I got over it and moved on. I'm not asking my age to just get over and move on. Yes, I wish he would, but I know that's not right. But I'm asking for forgiveness for something that happened a long time ago. We have had some email conversations, nothing but small talk at home. I find it odd that he has not yet told his mom about the situation. He tells her everything. They are very close. The emails have been pretty heartbreaking. He said he has a hard time looking at me, but he did say he did not regret marrying me, that his anger comes in waves and he is trying to figure out how to deal with it. He has not done anything about the friend, not that I know. I did offer to leave. I said I would give him time and space if that's what he needed. He indicated that in an email, even for a few days or a year, whatever he needed. He said no, he did not want me to leave and he was going to work hard at overcoming this. That's a good sign, right? I do want to thank everyone for the great advice. I have really been trying this patience thing out, and I have been doing all that you guys have said. I know I messed up big time, but maybe, just maybe, we will be able to move past this. I do have to start taking a little better care of myself. I have been so stressed out this week. I have not been able to eat or sleep and I feel sick all the time. I don't think I'll be much good to him or support if I don't eat a meal and sleep for a few hours. I'm glad it's Friday, at least I will have the weekend to recover. I have not been anything but completely understanding and nice. I have been very compassionate and understanding, mostly due to the advice I have received about how he feels and how to handle it. We are having a great day so far. He is being great. He seems to be over it for the most part, but I know that his anger comes in waves, so I'm being really understanding. My comment, this is a forever struggle for them, and they will be stuck in struggle forever, and she is asking for the impossible from him. Story 3. The Bus. I'm probably going to sound like an ungrateful jerk, but here goes. We're in our mid-40s, married for 10+ years, together for 15+, 2 wonderful kids, 8 and 6, a dog, nice house in the burbs. We don't fight often, low-conflict marriage. We stay active. My wife is attractive, successful, and outgoing, and she adores me, but I'm not in love with her. This is not the typical no feelings for you story, meaning this didn't happen overnight. In fact, it's been this way for a long time. The problem is that so much in our life is good, no fighting, no money issues. Even the fights we do have don't turn nasty, we have each other's backs. History, we dated for a while, moved in together, and due to some insecurity issues back then I asked her to marry me, even though in my heart I knew my heart wasn't into it. In my head I logically convinced myself that I had no good reason to break up the relationship, and there was definitely some safety and security being with someone who loved me as dearly as she does. However, when I'm alone with my thoughts I know, again in my heart, I'm not happy and there's nothing she can do to change this. We've done the marriage counseling thing. I've done individual counseling. Read the books. At this point she's confused and scared and angry. The fact of the matter is that I feel like this is a secret I've been living with. To the outside world we look like the epitome of a happily married couple. When she wants to hold my hand, I'll hold hers, but I find myself quickly looking for a reason to reach for something in order to free my hand. Our goodbye kisses are pecks. We at times go weeks without bonding because I don't desire her even though I know she is physically attractive. This hurts her. We fight, it's better for a bit and then goes back. Recently we've been having serious discussions about this, except she doesn't know I've felt this way for so long. I'd never tell her. So, from her perspective she thinks it's a recent development. But we are definitely at a crossroads. I honestly feel like I'm either going to separate from her now, or I have to suck it up and stay in the marriage forever. We've briefly discussed me moving out, but the thought of telling our kids is a crushing weight. I know they'd adjust in due time, but the prospect of telling them, of having those first few nights by myself without them is heart-wrenching. Nonetheless, my alternative is to remain unhappy in this marriage, knowing that my feelings won't change and that my desire for her will probably only become more distant as we age, which is not fair to either of us. I've been lurking on here for a while now and I've seen a few marriages that sound a little similar to mine but haven't really seen a full-on paper. I have nothing to complain about marriage. Then again, it's a lousy feeling, so maybe people don't want to post and take the flack from others. I thought writing this all out would make me feel better, but it doesn't. I don't know that I'd be looking for different traits. I think I'd be looking for different feelings. And again, I realize this is difficult to communicate over a written form like this. I'll reiterate what I mentioned above. We all have platonic friendships with people of the opposite gender, sometimes very dear and close friends, but with whom we would never feel romantically attracted to. Now, it wasn't exactly like that. Obviously, there was some early on infatuation stage in our relationship, but that is typical of many of the people here. But that burned off early and I just didn't have the wherewithal to end the relationship, mostly because there were so many other good aspects to it. Friendship, common interests, etc. It's hard on my wife, no doubt. In a way, I think it would be easier for her if there was infidelity involved. At least that way it would somehow make sense to her. It's becoming obvious to me that unless you've experienced what I've been experiencing, it's very difficult to understand. We've been talking it through the past few months. Wife has accepted my feelings have changed a bit. She said she accepts my feelings at the moment but hope we can work things out. She said we need some new sparks in our relationship, which I agree with. Let's hope there's a change here moving forward. My comment: what do you guys think about a non-infidelity story? Can feelings be fixed in the marriage? Comment down and I got another one in the afternoon. Catch you in the next one.